What's going on, people? Welcome back to Hustle Smart, here with myself, Lex
and Shubbz.
And we have a very special guest here today. She's been shelling out some financial knowledge on the Twitter timeline, Instagram as well. And she also has her own podcast. So I think this is actually our second collab podcast episode on our own. No, it's the first one on our own channel. But our second one today. Yeah. And we have, drumroll please.
Kia. Sorry, I didn't know how to. I was going to come in with it.
The infamous Kia.
Yes.
So, I didn't really know how to pronounce your name when I first saw it.
Because you saw the K, right?
No, I saw the K, but it had the
E. Do you know it's just a decoration?
Oh, okay.
It actually doesn't mean anything. It's just a decoration. My name's Kia. But on social media, I go by K.
Okay.
Firstly, on behalf of the British public, we'd like to say a big thank you for your financial knowledge.
Yeah, man.
I can see how much is like helping people and impacting people.
Word.
Like, I love the threads, like they're super useful, and a lot of the time, a lot of people don't have access to that information. Yeah. So thank you for spilling out those them gems.
So, Kia.
Yes.
First question on the agenda. What is your background? I don't mean ethnic background.
Yeah,
just like,
I mean just in general.
In general.
So right now I'm still a student.
Yep.
I am studying French and business at university.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing you mean with regards to finance, right?
Yeah.
Just in general?
In general.
A bit closer. Yeah, just in general. Like,
in general.
What do you do?
Well, like I said, I'm still a student. I still work part-time. But now I do this kind of financial guidance via social media.
Nice.
On the side as well. So a lot of people ask me, like, is it what you study? And it's just, I've always had a natural curiosity with regards to finance from young.
Let me pause you. What has sparked that curiosity in finance?
I'd say growing up, my parents have been very instrumental with my financial literacy.
Yeah.
But then it got to first year uni, find myself in a lot of debt because I was trying to impress people and I had no money to impress people. So then when I finally got out of that debt, working that off and getting out of that debt, I was like, wow, I'm not doing this ever again. And then I started to realize that many of my peers were doing the same thing as me. Yeah. And I was like, wow. Even though I got myself into that debt, I had the knowledge to not be in it. Yeah. So I thought, well, why not share that knowledge to try and prevent people from getting into that situation? Yeah. So it kind of went from there, really.
That makes sense.
Oh, that's really good. So you said you don't study financial?
No.
Okay. Oh, that's good. So like, how can people get access to this information if you yourself didn't study it? You just sort of use your curiosity to lead you to researching and finding stuff like that?
Well, part of my knowledge obviously came from business has some elements to it, not fully. And I studied economics at sixth form as well.
Okay.
But if you didn't study any of the above, but you're still interested, the information's out there.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just that everyone's too lazy to get it. That's what the issue is. Yeah. So everyone wants to just absorb what they're told. So if I tell you that, if I sit there and tell you, you know what, you should invest all your shares into Sainsbury's, people will listen to you. If I tweet that out, everyone will go and do it tomorrow, even though I've given you no context, no nothing, because everyone wants to absorb. No one wants to learn for themselves. And I think that's what the issue is, but it's completely out there, wherever you want it.
No, for sure. So like, what made you sort of make that first thread? Because like, when I done my first one, like, you hate to put out content because you overthink it. Do you get what I mean? Like, what made you do it? Like, eventually, like.
So in 2018, I started a YouTube channel doing financial literacy. But as you can imagine, that didn't really pop off because most young people don't go on YouTube to watch finance videos. So I put that to the side. And then about September-ish, I must have come across a statistic which said 53% of 22 to 29-year-olds have no savings. So I put it on my Instagram story because at the time I had a bigger following on Instagram. And many of my friends who knew I did that before said, oh my gosh, can you give us some tips? And I was like, okay, cool. So one of my friends said, you should do it on Twitter because that's the best medium. And then screenshot it and put it in your story. So that's why I did it. So I did that for saving first. And then with the Help to Buy ISA, which is one that went viral, I did that because I was like, what is this thing that everyone keeps talking about? So I did my research about it, started talking to my friends. They didn't quite understand it. So when I explained it to them, they're like, wow, I get it now. So I thought, let me try and compact it down so people can understand it. And my intention was to write it up like I did on Twitter and then screenshot it and put it in my story. it was never my intention for it to make any kind of waves on Twitter, because at the time I had like less than 1,000 followers. I was no one.
Yeah.
So I did that with the intention of putting it on Instagram.
How many followers do you have now?
How many
followers do you have now?
18,500.
That's amazing. That's what it is. And like, people are actually following you because like you're influencing them in a positive way, shedding information that they need, giving them a lot of value as well.
Yeah.
So that's super useful and like that's great.
Thank you.
You do like that. And with that, with having like seen your tweets, you sort of decided like you need another medium to really educate people more, which is why you went for the podcast.
Yeah. See, I mean, it wasn't my decision. If I'm honest with you, when I made the Help to Buy ISA thread, people were just like, "Oh my gosh, write a book! Oh my gosh, do videos!" And I was thinking, you guys are moving so lightning fast. I'm not doing that. But then a lot of people said, "Do a podcast," and I was like, "Actually, I can do my voice. I can do that." So I think about a day or two after that thread went viral, 5 days later, I launched my podcast. So I literally knew nothing about podcasts, but I had to find a studio. I had to figure out how you even put it in Spotify. I didn't know anything. Did that, launched that. And initially it was to test the waters to see, are people even want to listen to something about finance? I don't know. So I tried it, ended up going down really well, and then I just kept with it.
So like on your podcast, like what sort of topics do you cover, or like what sort of information do you cover? Because so I can imagine like finance is so broad. So how do you actually condense it down for, the average, let's quote unquote average person to digest?
Well, I like to do topics primarily at the moment focusing around personal finance. So explaining how mortgages work or what a credit score is. Kind of like what maybe I deem to be basic, but a lot of people don't know. To kind of break that down. But then also I have guests come on. So I've had someone who's created his own app. I've had people, business owners, all types of people who come on to share their own knowledge with regards to different topics that potentially I might not have the knowledge on. I did one last week about Financial Apprenticeship Week. I went to university. I can't really talk about apprenticeships. I have no first-hand knowledge. So just to bridge the gap, because there's a lot of questions that I get in. I get about 50 DMs a day of questions. So I just try and bridge the gap with regards to that. My podcast.
That's dope. And I see you have your dad on there as well.
My dad's real G, man.
Yeah. How you finding that? Because Alex is due to bring his dad down. How you finding it having your dad? He shares a lot of game. He knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, he's great. Like I've had some, for example, like the BBC must have reached out to me. And they said that they heard about my podcast. And everyone, the one episode they've listened to is the one with my dad. And everyone loves it. My dad is just insane. Like he's a fountain of knowledge. Again, no finance background at all. He's again had interest in finance for years. He's absolutely just like insane. Him on there, he can just give gems that sometimes he's just so eloquent with his delivery that you're just like, wow. So I sit there in awe and I'm just like, wow.
Big up Pops.
Honestly, big him up.
Crazy,
he's amazing.
Good, that's dope, man. That's really good.
Yeah.
So, what was it that I was gonna say? So yeah, regarding your saving habits, what type of saving habits have really served you well, would you say?
When I was 16, I got my very first job. I worked at McDonald's. £4 an hour.
Is it?
£4 an hour.
Bro.
Yeah. Whenever I tell people that now, they're like, wow, that's slavery. I'm like, no. Minimum wage at the time was £3.79.
My first job was £4 an hour.
My first job was paper, and I was like £7 a week. I used to dash the papers away still.
I was handing out leaflets outside the train station for £4 and £2 chicken and chips.
But like, I was handing out the papers. I thought, no, this is long, man. There must be a cook away in it. So I just started dashing them in the bin, fam.
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean,
that's not hustling smart. That's cheating the game.
Yeah, that is. I'm not gonna lie, that is. But I did that working at McDonald's. But then my dad always said to me that you've got to save. So I've been saving since I was about 8 years old. But I didn't know how to save with £4 an hour. I was like, I'm not even earning money to save. But I set up a standing order from my current account to my savings account to leave every Friday, £5. So £20 a month. And that's been going on for the past 5 years. So good. So it just leaves my account.
That's good.
And that's one thing I've never cancelled it.
I think that's what a lot of people don't build that habit of saving. Like they think, let's say for example, they earn like £1,000. They'll spend 800 and then survive.
That's
I don't know how you can do it.
They need to put it in reverse and kind of save that 200.
Absolutely.
And then
Absolutely. But I'm a very lazy saver as well, so I use apps.
Okay. What type of apps do you use? Because I heard you said something about Plum, but that's more investing.
No, it's not. Well, I mean, you can. There is that option, but Plum is mainly a saving vehicle. So you download the app, you connect your account to it, whatever your main account is. And what it will do is for like the first couple of days, it will assess your income and your spending. And then from there, it will start making regular deposits into like a separate pot for you.
Oh, is that one of them things like rounds up your change and...
It can do. So it will save regardless. Like it will pick an amount that you can afford, and then you can also have the option to turn on roundups as well to give you like an extra boost with regards to saving. So I discovered that like mid last year, before I started doing anything like on social media with regards to finance. Discovered that, and it was just like a blessing. I was like, wow.
So is it effectively, does it set up a standing order, or you can set up a standing order on that or through the Plum app, and it will just...
So what it does is when you turn it on, is every Wednesday it will move money across.
Okay. Okay. And can you every week, yeah?
Yeah.
And you can set that amount every week?
No, so it will figure out how much you can afford based on your spending. So let's say let's say that the account I've got linked up, I've only got £100 in it, for example. Yeah. It may tell me, right, Kia, we're going to move £2.43 into that account, which is a small amount, but they've based on how much I've spent. Maybe I spend a lot in that account, so it'll move amounts that way.
And so that money that's being saved, what do they do with that money?
It's in a separate pot within the app, which you can readily use. You can take it out whenever you want. If I wanted to withdraw everything in my pot now, it'll go straight into my account immediately.
But what do they do with that money? Kind of like some companies, I can't remember the app, but I have it on here. They invest it.
You have that option. So you can, there's like this splitter tool called the Brain.
Yeah.
So you can have 100% of your money that comes from your account to go straight into savings, or you can do 50-50.
Okay.
And then you can pick a portfolio to invest in that way. So it's up to you, whatever you want to do with the money.
Makes sense.
Yeah, that's so good. So yeah, mainly like with fintech and all that, we can really use that to our strengths.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I love fintech.
Yeah,
I love it.
It's crazy. It's like, it's made for us. Do you get what I mean? Because
I think it absolutely is.
Because like, remember like shoebox days and stuff like that. Now everything is just all automated.
All automated. I love fintech so much. Honestly.
It's crazy. Because a lot of people, they use these apps, and they think, oh yeah, I'm just going to leave it to invest, when they don't even, one, they don't know what they're investing in. Two, the returns are just like so low. It's not really going to be life-changing money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's interesting. Man. What would
you say is the easiest way to invest for like someone like young like us? Because with me, I sort of got into robo investments, like robo investors. So like with Nutmeg or Wealth Simple and stuff.
Well, that's
like
pretty
that.
much what Plum is.
Yeah. But would you say like at our age we should sort of start looking into things like index funds or like more things where we can...
It depends on what kind of handle you've got on your money. Because you could be our age and you could be splashing the cash because drip is your life. So you're not really thinking about the long term. Or you could be someone who's like, you know what, I've been saving. I've got this money. Now I want to diversify where my money goes. Then that's when I'd encourage you to probably look a bit further afield. But a lot of people that I meet, especially like 18, 19, 20-year-olds, are just thinking, well, I'm at uni, I've got a party, I've got to do this, I've got to do that. So me telling them to invest will be the wrong advice.
Okay.
Their advice is to start developing saving habits, because most of them don't save.
I would say like in uni, I would say if you obviously just save as much as you can. That's feasible. But if you can, like a lot, typical thing that people do is events, innit? So let's say if you don't want to even be at the forefront, just like ask someone or ask a friend who puts on it and just say, oh look, can I just put in this amount of money and get this return? Like that way you're making money from sitting at home doing nothing. Do you know what I'm saying? But I think like for the person that's graduated and that's actually working, earning money, I would say look to invest in like property, crypto and all that stuff. But when I say invest in property, you don't have to, save up like 30, 40k. You can just invest a small proportion. Because like, for example, with one investment, that's what I've done. I've invested a small proportion and the return that I'm getting alone in a year is way more, like percentage-wise, way more than what the bank is offering. Do you know what I mean? So,
yeah. It's true. It's absolutely
true. But just for transparency, how much was like the minimum you could put in?
The minimum?
Yeah. Like
I'd say,
roughly.
I would say to get a decent amount on your return. But this is with other people.
Okay, cool.
So I said to get a decent amount, I'll say anything between 3,000 to 5,000.
Cool.
And obviously, like, coming out of uni, the average person wouldn't have that, but it's not that difficult to save like 3 to 5k in 1 year. You can even do it in less than that if you do it quite rigorously. Do you know what I mean?
All right, cool. So this is my question. Yeah. So on the train, some uncle tried like pitch to me Forex Trading, innit? And like I've like I know how to handle them now, innit? Because from like 18, they've been pitching to me. But the thing is, what I said, my response to him was that my wealth creation vehicle is business. So it's like a lot of the time, I feel as if like people should also focus on other avenues as well, in a sense that they don't always have to sort of look into trading or anything like that. Like if you have a business, that's also sort of investment as well. Once it starts paying you and you're investing money in it and you're getting a larger return. So I feel like people really get sort of distracted when we talk about investing, because like you can invest in yourself.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? And you can get a larger return as well. Like you can invest in a business, you can invest in stocks, of course, you can invest in property and things like that. But also like people shouldn't like miss out the fact that you can also invest in a business as well, if you get what I mean.
But I think it depends what people want. Like
Yeah.
you can invest in the business, but then also people want kind of something that will give you instant return. And for instant return, I would say focus on creating cash flow. So you invest in something and it gives you return every so often. That is exactly the thing that Grant Cardone always bangs on about cash flow.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So like for me, that's my main focus. Is creating cash flow and making my money work for itself, basically.
Yeah,
so
I'm not a fan of Forex.
Yeah.
Neither am I.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I feel like when it comes to stuff like that, like a lot of day-to-day trading and things like that, like people sort of just go for like fast cash, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, but half of these things aren't really what they say they
exactly,
are.
Exactly.
Like they'll go and say, you know what, come and sign up with us and give us £200. We'll teach you exactly how to day trade. And these things aren't taught in like a month.
Yeah.
You have to sit there and learn these things. And half of these are scams. That's why I'm not really a fan of this.
I just call it glorified gambling, man.
Pretty much, yeah.
No offense to anyone that's a Forex trader.
But it's also as if like people are also Forex trading in the banks, and if you compare it to those who are doing it
but that's different
on their
though.
phones and stuff like that, like to me, just like, is that really Forex trading or you're just sort of day trading? And
I'll say it's
like
day
risking.
trading, man. It's different because in the bank you're actually doing. You're actually analysing the market, analysing the trends. You're looking at, okay, what's the news saying? You're looking at all these contributing factors. But on like Forex, you just look at the market. Oh yeah, I think it's gonna go up. I think it's gonna go down. And you're submitting the trade.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So.
And a lot of young people fall into that trap and like lose a lot of money as well, because they feel like, yeah, I can give this guy my money and I can get a fast return back.
So many stories like that.
Even I got a story. I gave away like £1,000.
Is it? You're moving nuts.
I haven't seen a penny back. Do you get what I mean?
I had people come up to me. I said, look, I have no interest.
But that wasn't for Forex. That was for crypto though.
Yeah.
That was like, I feel like Bitcoin just like done a like crazy rise.
Yeah.
And then I was like, we got to get into Bitcoin. And my guy was doing it. I was like, okay, let me but you have to be able to put money you can lose in it.
Yeah. I get stopped all the time and I'm just like, do I even look like I'm someone who's going to sit down and Forex trade with you? I don't understand. I don't understand it.
Yeah, I have no interest in learning how to trade. Like I had bare people come to me. I said, look, like I don't want to trade. I have no interest in that.
Yeah.
If you can construct a portfolio that's going to give me X amount and it's looking promising, then yeah, I'll do that. And every time I've like said that to them, they've never ever got back to me.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? So.
Exactly. 100%. But I know we didn't really prepare you for this, but sort of like off the top of your head, what would you say are like some ways like young people could earn some more money? Like not like like legit ways, like what's out there like online you think people could earn some more money?
I mean, the best way to earn yourself more money is to pick up a new skill. 100%. Like a lot of people want fast cash.
Yeah.
But fast cash has to come with some sort of investment. And the best form of investment is self-investment.
Yeah.
Really and truly.
I agree.
And a lot of people say, oh, but I don't have many skills and how do I even learn? Last year, I'm not artistic or anything. Like my art teacher told me not to take it. That's how bad I am at art, right? But last year I learned how to illustrate.
Yeah.
And then I started doing graphic design.
Okay, yeah, cool.
Yeah. So I started doing, I needed a logo. I was doing hair colouring. I asked my friend to make it. She said no. She said, I'll teach you instead.
Oh, nice.
And I said,
that's a good friend.
I was actually like, I don't want to learn. I said, I'll pay you money to design my logo. But she said no. So we spent 10 hours on FaceTime learning how to do it. So she taught me how to do it, made my logo. And then from there, I started doing it for fun. So I started just making them. And
what software do you use?
Illustrator, Adobe Illustrator.
Okay.
So I started making them for fun and then putting them up. And then all of a sudden, I think one of them did the rounds on Twitter before I did anything else. And then people would ask me like, so how much you charge for logos? How much you charge for this? And I was like, whoa, this is me, all because I sat down and invested my time and energy into learning that skill.
Yeah.
And there's websites out there. There's websites called Skillshare. There's Udemy. YouTube is the best teacher. I learned so much about from illustration from
I'm
YouTube.
an advocate for Udemy. I can't lie to you.
I love Udemy.
That helped me with Excel.
That's what I'm saying. Whatever you want to learn, it helped me with Photoshop because I could do Photoshop.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to learn, Udemy is great. It's like £10 usually for like a course.
And once you learn these skills, there's also platforms as well where you can now sort of monetize it, like freelance platforms like Fiverr,
another one I can't remember.
People per hour, Upwork, all these places. But it's like a lot. It's weird because like when you know this information, you sort of expect others to know it, but maybe like we're just lucky that we sort of came across it. But like there are many ways that people are making money online in legit ways, and this is through having a skill. They're monetizing it. For example, putting it on these platforms, and then they're getting leads for you and stuff like that. So like that's also another way as well.
You just have a passion for it as well, because I mean you can just do something for the sake of it, but like I don't know if you know this girl Mabintu on social media. So obviously she learned UX UI.
Is an advocate.
I can imagine.
I respect her a lot.
She learned UX UI about a year before that, before I started doing it. So like we got into contact from me doing it as well. But then she just started shooting a shot. She just create illustrations, and she told me, you create illustration and just add this person and do that. And that's how she got recognized. Now she's
doing a thing because like even this UX UI stuff is
hard,
difficult. I downloaded some of the software.
Same.
My head
I tried Figma for like 2 hours, and I was like, "Fuck this."
I downloaded Sketch and then something else. I was like, I was on YouTube for like a week, trying to teach myself.
So hard. So ratings to her,
for sure.
But all because she decided to. Like her story is that she was at university, she was working, but she wanted to focus more on her degree, but she still needed money. So she thought, you know what, I learned some stuff from my architecture degree. Let me try and apply it and make logos. So she was selling logos for like £20 per logo. And then when she got more demand, she increased it, and then she learned more skills along the way, and that's how she is where she is now, which is just like insane.
No, that's what it is. Work ethic and just passion to learn.
Exactly.
Really and truly.
Exactly.
But so with like, what's one tip you'll give like all these young starting businesses as well from like what you've seen? Like I see a lot of stuff and it's like, is that you shouldn't be doing that and stuff like that. But what's one?
What do you mean? What sort of stuff do you see?
So like just like lack of professionalism.
Yeah, I was
just
gonna,
like how people sort of carry themselves, not understanding that your reputation and your brand means a lot to your business and like your longevity in the game and stuff like that. Like what have you seen from like an outside looking in kind of perspective?
So of late I've been commenting on it a bit more, but I feel like a lot of people are money driven and no one's really driven to provide quality.
And
so like
value.
Exactly. So I see, especially on Twitter, if you're on Twitter, there's a lot of people who come and be like, don't use this hair service, and then they give you a whole thread on why not. And then there was one about 2 weeks ago that happened, and then the girl who was being accused, like the hair person, she went on Instagram Live to slate that girl. And I was thinking there's no professionalism in that at all. And when you saw the screenshots, the hair girl was just rude to the girl. I was thinking everyone just is in it for the money, and sometimes you need to give some customer service. If someone says, I'm not happy with this, even if you disagree, this is your reputation at stake. But people don't want to hear it. People want to say, who does she think she is? And then start having an argument, and that's not how you conduct business.
But I think with that being said, because like hair, especially with girls as well, this is not sexist by the way, like it's a personable service. So it's just like, it might not be anything against her, but like it comes as a package. You know what I mean?
It's the lack of systems. I say it all the time. There's no systems. People are just winging it. It's just like going back to aunties and uncles doing their businesses and treating you anyhow. There's no business. They're just hustling. And until you have a system, you're not a business. You're just hustling. It's just like going out on the streets and getting clients and just doing work and getting paid for it. But you don't have a system that's like working for you without you putting all this effort in and stuff like that. So like that's one thing I see all the time, and it's like that's why we're passionate about this podcast, because people need to understand that you need to have a certain way of doing things. You need principles. You need values that would make you like think twice before tweeting something back to a customer that's dragging you. Do you get what I'm saying?
That's the thing. And I know it's hard because I've been, obviously I'm quite prevalent on social media now, and I've had backlash from certain things that I've said. With different ways I've been called racist, I've been called all kind of things under the sun. But as tempting as it is, like me, I'll go full force about who do you think you're talking to?
Sure.
But then I sit down and I'm like, I have an image to uphold. And there's no point in me engaging in any kind of beef or any kind of drama because it doesn't benefit me whatsoever.
Yeah, exactly.
The best way to go about things. If it's a service in your business, is to approach the customer directly and try and resolve it that way. And if you can't reach a resolution and they still want to go off, then you know you've done the best that you can. Or if it's me, it's like if it's someone who's on like social media, you just have to just not engage.
I got a tip for things like that. Yeah, like I think people should write down 5 values, yeah, that kind of uphold them. And let's say you get in a situation, yeah, you kind of, this is something that my mentor taught me as well. You go back to them 5 values, and if they don't uphold one of those 5 values, then you're doing something wrong.
Could you give us an example of a value, please?
Okay, so for example, God, you put me on the spot, man. Okay, let's say like integrity.
Yeah.
If
so handle every.
Let's say honesty. Let's say honesty and integrity. Let's bracket that as one. Yeah. If you have an issue with a customer or whatever, if you feel the need to go and attack that customer on social media or in person, ask yourself, okay, does it uphold kind of those like, that value?
And to sort of develop more on that, my thing would be like, for example, when you say integrity, doing what you're meant to do even when no one's looking.
Yeah.
So if a client overpays you, you still give them
money.
You
don't take the extra money.
Exactly.
You say, right, look, you overpaid me, I'm going to refund you X amount.
And when you do have them values, that's what will help you sort of dictate how you are as a business person. Yeah. But I feel like people don't even write business plans. They just get...
People just go and say, I've got money, I'm going to buy this, and I'm going to start Instagram tomorrow. That's what I'm going to do.
I remember when I first told my mentor, like my business idea, and he's like, all right, cool, what's your plan?
Yeah.
I couldn't say anything. I said, I don't have one. He's like, all right, cool. He's like, I'm gonna send you this, go on Udemy, take this course, start writing the business plan, come back to me. And then like as I started writing the business plan, it forced me to kind of delve deeper and to understand, okay, why I'm actually making the decision that I've made. Because some decision that I decided to do, or some of the things I wanted to do, I'm no longer doing them anymore because there wasn't actually rationale behind it.
And your business plan isn't like a 10, 20 page document. It's just legit writing down mission, value, goals, long-term plan. Where do you see yourself? What does success look like? What's your why? What's your story and stuff like that? It can legit be like 1 or 2 pages, but it's just you taking out the time to knowing and mapping out what you want your business to be.
So for those who don't know how to write a business plan, you can go on Udemy. It's a platform that we've like been talking about. And if you literally just type in how to write a business plan, we can even put the link below, to be fair, to save you the trouble. But if you go on to like type into Udemy how to write a business plan, there's courses here ranging from like as low as £10 all the way up to £50. And if you think about it, £10, that's a cheeky Nando's. Do you know what I mean? So if you can spend money in Nando's, you can spend money to write a business plan. So it's not that deep.
But if you're even being super resourceful, you can just find it on Google.
You can find it on Google. But what Udemy does, it breaks it down step by step, and it gives
you know what to write.
Exactly. You know what to write. It gives a rationale as to why you're writing it. So, and for those who are inquisitive like me, I like to understand the purpose of things. Do you know what I mean? So check it out.
Would you always say you've been sort of like in business, like always inclined and pushed to business?
Yeah.
Because from hearing your story, I can tell from times like you're doing logos, hair coloring and stuff like that. What sort of made you sort of go into that? Like, is it just like, I feel like the way we are like as young black people, like we always feel as if like we have to do something else on the side and stuff like that.
No, you know what? If I just put it in brief, when I was in primary school, when I was 9, my mum taught me how to knit. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
That's right.
But you mean knit as in like with the two?
As in like she taught me with the needles how to knit. Yeah, and that's very old school back in the day. Like when I learned, no one did that. But she taught me how to knit, so I learned how to knit. And then I went into school. I had one scarf that I made, and everyone was like, "I want one." I went in. I used to go in, ask them what color they wanted. So I'd take like 4 orders in that day, £1 each. Go home, make them, give them the next day. Oh, wow. That's what I did. That was in primary school. Secondary school, I sold cookies. I was in year 7. About two months in secondary school. Saw all the older kids doing it.
Did you ever get robbed?
Can I tell my story? I like to do progression.
Go. Sorry.
Started selling cookies. I remember I went home, told my dad, and I was like, "Look, Dad, like I want to do this. Can I have a £5 investment? I want to buy the cookies. When I sell them." My dad was like, "Okay, cool, as long as you don't get in trouble, and I want my £5 back tomorrow." Did that, sold my cookies, gave him back the money, started selling. Loads of people were doing it, so I lowered my price to 40p. It was 50p, lowered it to 40.
Undercut the market.
Everyone else lowered it to 40, lowered it to 30. Obviously, there you're making like no profit, but it wasn't long term. It was never meant to be long term. They all left the market, just me alone, raised it back to 50. So that's what I did for 4 years. I was a monopoly. That was it. So everyone knew that if they wanted something, they came to me. So I was carrying bulk clothes. I even had little runners, everything.
Oh, wow.
I dominated it for the whole my schooling. Yeah, for whole secondary school.
Wow.
Got to 6th form. Obviously, I was working. And I used to do I used to sell natural hair products on the side as well when I was in sixth form, and I got to university, and then I still that's when I learned how to illustrate and stuff. So it's always just been in me to always want to do something else. I never felt pressure to do so. It just was like, I want to, what's this and what's that? What can I do? That was always me. Like, I want to see how I can make extra money.
Yeah.
Back when I was in secondary school, I got an iPhone in year 7. Yeah, bearing in mind no one had iPhones then, everyone had BlackBerry. So then when I realized that no one was actually going to get an iPhone, in year 9, I bought myself a BlackBerry because I had the money. I was just like, well, I've saved up this money.
Yeah.
I may as well. I had loads of money because I was just selling all the time.
Yeah.
Didn't go out in year 9. What was you doing in year 9? Nothing really.
Yeah.
So I just had money set aside. So it's always just been in me to just be that kind of driven person.
Yeah. So did you ever get robbed?
Man.
To answer that question, no.
You can tell it.
No, never.
You can see why Alex is asking. Like he was one of them guys who just saw robbed. Do you know what I mean?
I tried to do the whole selling thing. I thought,
self.
I got home, I thought, all right, cool, I'm gonna break it down. These are my profit margins.
Yeah.
Started playing Xbox.
Oh,
chomping
no,
the stock.
man. I'm serious,
Chomping the stock. I was
man.
like, yeah, it's not for me, man.
Were you chubby when you were younger?
I wasn't chubby. I got a mad sweet tooth in it. So
Oh, is it? I don't. That's probably why I was alright.
yeah, I
don't
love
have sweet tooth.
sweets.
Yeah,
I don't like
sweets.
sweets.
I love sweets. But before we move on to the next question, what drives you
What drives me in general?
In general, yeah. Or what drives you? Like why? Like okay, like obviously you briefly explained like why you do what you do, but like kind of like why do you wake up in the morning? Why? Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. I'd say for me now, I have been through a lot in my life, and a lot of things have happened.
Yeah.
And if one of the things that I've been through, someone else has gone through, they probably give up.
Yeah.
But I know that there's a reason why I'm here.
Yeah.
And I feel like I haven't fulfilled my purpose yet.
Yeah.
And up until very recently, I feel like I didn't know what my purpose was. And I felt very, like I used to wake up and lack motivation because I'm like, I don't know what I'm meant to be doing in life. When I leave uni, what am I going to do? I have no clue. And then very recently, I've kind of felt like, you know what, I feel like I know what I'm going to do.
Is it because of you taking action that you found it, or like just over time?
Literally, it was just one day. So to me right now, I feel like my purpose is, I've always known that my purpose is to help people. I just didn't know in what medium.
Okay.
And now I'm in this medium now, giving financial guidance. I feel like this is what I was meant to do. And at least right now.
Yeah.
But every day I wake up and I'm like, you know what? There's a reason why I'm here. And I should thank God that I'm still here. So I'm going to keep and make sure that every day I do the best that I can. Obviously, some days are easier than others.
Yeah, for sure.
But every day, that's what pushes me. So I want to make sure that my family are proud of me, that my friends are proud of me. That's why I get up and do what I do.
Love that.
That's good, man. It's interesting. It's proper
That's
interesting.
so good. Wow, that's really good.
No, yeah.
Thank you.
That definitely resonates with me.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Oh, that's good. So you see, with like now that you're sort of like building a following and community and stuff like that, like how are you like very like intentional with like what you put out there or your brand, and making sure that, like you said, you know what your purpose is, you know what you're trying to do. How do you make sure what you're doing is aligned with your brand, and how can people who want to build a brand sort of follow your steps?
With me, obviously, I kind of fell into it in the beginning,
sure.
but then once I realized that this is what I was gonna do, I had to then become more intentional, as you said. So on my Twitter page, all the financial guidance I give is on my personal page.
Yeah.
So obviously, if someone follows me, it's not going to be 24/7 finance, because I'm still a young person who still lives her life, right?
Yeah.
So not gonna lie, from 9 to 10, it's Love Island. Yeah. So you're still
for
gonna
sure.
get that from me, but other than that, I'm very intentional with what I post. I know that if I'm going to post something, because everyone wants to know where things come from. So I post a lot of stats because I like to know numbers. I like to see, and I feel like numbers shock people more. So I make sure that I'm very intentional with the numbers I post and the reason why I'm posting it. So if I say something like I mentioned earlier, 53% of 22, 29-year-olds have no savings, I'll make sure that I'm saying that, you know what, but you can start a saving habit today. There's always a reason as to why I say these stats, not to make people feel bad, but there's action behind whatever I say.
I think that's what really drives it home, is that shock value.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I think that works great.
That's usually what makes people think, wow, whoa, I didn't even know that. So that's how I built kind of like Twitter. It's just making sure that I give content that people are able to relate to.
Yeah.
With regards to like my Instagram following on the podcast side and the podcast itself, it's kind of like people want to follow a journey.
Yeah.
So there's people who listen to my podcast who've been there from day one, the first ever episode, who want to follow the journey. They were there from when I didn't know, fumbling along from the first episode to now where I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And they want, as each episode goes along, I reveal a little bit more about myself. So people are like, oh my gosh, yeah, she said that she does this and she does that.
Yeah.
Because people want to know about the person. I can sit there and just talk finance and say nothing about me.
Yeah.
But then
Get
I feel like
boring.
a robot. There is no human element to it, and that's what I've realised, that people want the human element.
They do.
People want to know, who are you? Are you similar to me?
Yeah.
How are you similar? Or if you're different, how are you different? If you give nothing, people get bored.
Yeah,
That's what it is. Like whoever your favourite influencer is, celebrity, there's something about them that you like because it might be their personality, it might be whatever, but it's something that you like to follow about them, and that's the reason why you follow them.
Makes sense though.
Yeah, no. There's a lot people can take from that. Like the whole human element as well. Like the journey driven as well. Like people do like to see her come up. People like to see where you started and where you're going, and they do love to be a part of it as well.
It's an interesting point because obviously like my sister she sits down and listens to this podcast. She's like, oh, like Alex, like why don't you speak properly, coherently? I'm like, look, like that's not who I am.
Exactly.
And if I start to change who I am, it's no longer organic and people are not gonna fuck with it. Do you know what I'm saying? So this is my time to be me. Do you know what I mean? Like 9 to 5, I'm in a suit. Like I'm still me, but I'm not fully me. Do you know what I mean? It's an interesting point still.
Well, that's good. So what is sort of like the end goal with like the podcast, with the financial literacy?
I feel like I'm still trying to figure that out.
Yeah, that's fine. Maybe like the next couple years or so, not the end goal then.
I feel like for me, I've always said to people that I find it quite hard because usually whatever you want to do, there's someone who's really doing it. So you have someone to look up to. Whereas right now, I feel like I don't know where I want to go, and I don't know who I'd look up to in that space. I feel like I'm almost formulating that journey for myself because I don't know where to go. But my goal is to hopefully be doing this full time.
Nice.
To be giving regular like masterclasses on different finance topics, to keep building a podcast, hopefully provide some visuals very soon. Let's just kind of keep building for our brand and see where that takes me. Pretty much.
I love the vision boarding sessions and the workshops. I feel like people really do need that because like it's easy for us to say on a podcast and make sure you write a vision board and stuff like that. But when people are next to you or when people are seeing other people doing it as well, I feel like there's so much value to gain. So like keep on doing that because people need it, man.
Yeah, thank you.
That's really
I keep
good.
saying everything that I wrote down, I had beginning of last year, I wrote down like about 20 goals I wanted to achieve. I achieved 18 out of 20.
Nice.
And I always say it's because I put it down to paper. So now this year, I'm making it visual. Last year it was just words that I wanted to achieve. This year is visual. So on my walls, I see it every day. So even if you don't realize it, you're seeing it. So you're going to manifest it in yourself. You're going to make sure you take the steps to action it. And I think it's great.
Quick question, this is off topic, but do you guys, you kind of touched on it briefly, but do you guys have idols? Like people you look up to?
There's a few people I look up to.
In general or with regards to?
Just in general.
Yeah, there's a few people I look up to.
Is there any of them that you can say?
Yeah, like people like Will Smith, with his no fear element, with like when he's saying like success is on the other side of fear, and that's why he's pushing himself to do all these crazy things. So stuff like that is really like motivational and inspiring as well. Yeah. There's like there's a few other people as well. Like obviously like when I started my journey it was all Gary V and Grant and stuff like that. But now there's more people like Human Level who I'm seeing like doing like a lot of big stuff and things like that. So like, but my main one's probably like Will Smith and stuff like that. People who just sort of defy the odds and stuff like that. But it's people who I look up to, not really see as an idol, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
What about yourself?
Do you know, I've never really been the girl who follows any kind of celeb or anything. So I couldn't necessarily tell you anyone that I say, oh my gosh, I watch this person and I look up to them. Yeah. There's just people in general, like as long as you're pushing and you've got some sort of grind, whatever aspect you're doing it in, that's it, I'm there. But like celebrities, like I've never been the girl to be like, oh my gosh, Beyonce, or oh my gosh, this person. So I couldn't really tell you anyone that I say, like, I want to be like that person or I idolize that person. There's not really anyone.
Makes sense.
What about you, bro?
You know, I used to be like yourself. Like I never kind of used to look up to anyone. Like obviously I got like my two mentors who like I absolutely respect. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like a sponge. But you know, I even mentioned this person to you and Clarence Avant. For those you don't know him, like Google him, the Black Godfather on Netflix. Like he is someone that's like, wow. Like he's done it. He's relentless. As in basically he worked in like the music industry and what he done, he used to just broker deals. And he will step into the meeting He don't care who you are.
Yeah.
It will curse you. It will tell you what you need to know. Like,
but he was doing this in 1930s where like racism was on the
racism was prevalent, and it's like like this guy, I could see myself in him. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's like, so he's probably say someone that I kind of put on that pedestal as an idol.
Yeah.
If I'm honest, but just that one person.
But there are a lot of people who like on our level that I do look up to.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There are a lot of people who like motivate as well. Like there's a lot of people doing what we do on like bigger scales and stuff like that. So like, I love to see like it's like for me, like I can't be jealous of anyone else. And when I see other people's success is like super encouraging because you know like they're just like you and they can do it. So like what's stopping you?
Yeah, it warms my heart when I see people like that. And I'm just like, you know what? I wish you all the best. Like I love it. I love to see it.
It goes back to what's his face? What did he say? That guy, the hip hop speaker, I forgot his name.
E.T.
Yeah, E.T. Eric Thomas. He says all men are created equal. Some work harder in pre-season. And that's all it is. It's like, fam, this is your pre-season. You're preparing for your match. You know what I'm saying? So
and also, I don't know if you read it, but you see what I wrote for like my 23 things. Like one thing I had was like is a positive sum game. So like someone else winning doesn't take from you. Yeah. Like it's all like there's an abundance, if you get what I mean, not scarcity. So there's always enough room. Like someone else getting paid does not stop you from getting paid. Do you get what I mean? And like opportunities are like they don't run out. Do you get what I'm saying? So someone else's opportunity is not taken from yours. Yeah. And I feel like that's the mindset shift that a lot of people need to have because like they see someone posting something and there's so much envy. Do you get what I'm saying? But
what people need to realize as well is that us, if we're talking about the black community, even though we like if we take podcasting, there's a lot of black podcasts at the moment. So I know a lot of people kind of think, oh well, there's people doing it already. Yeah. If you zoom out, we are still minorities. Whatever opportunities people are getting is still very rare. It's just to us, it feels like it's abundant and we can't get it. But it's very rare. We're still very much a minority. So we can all do very well.
I was so happy when you started yours. I was like, people need this. Because like we're hustle smart. And we're more business orientated and like we want to learn about finance and learn more and we feel like a lot of people need to learn more about it and like we can't cover everything so we need more people like you.
And
we need more
people all the business stuff so you guys have got it covered.
And again we're still learning as well.
Exactly.
Like, do you know what I'm saying? We've only graduated uni like house not so long ago.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? So we're just trying to basically just show like put down all the knowledge that you're not gonna learn likewise for yourself.
Yeah. And the bigger reason and the bigger purpose is like is bigger than us. Do you get what I mean? Like at the end of the day, it's to provide information and knowledge to people that they wouldn't get elsewhere. So if other people are doing it, then we have to all like push it further. Do you get what I mean? Because we're not doing it for ourselves. Do you get what I'm saying? So for sure.
Well, let's take it back to the topic here. What are like your top 3 saving habits? So you mentioned Plum.
So Plum, the standing order that I said, £5.
Yeah. So wait, is a Plum and a standing order, they're different, yeah?
They're completely different.
Okay, cool.
So I set up my own standing order. Plum is a separate app that I use.
Yeah.
And then the final one, so obviously this more relates to me because I work freelance. Not everyone will, so it might not be fully applicable. But I work part-time. My part-time wages cover my bills comfortably, my rent, my car insurance, whatever I need to do, it covers that comfortably and spending money. So I have a rule to myself is that any extra money I earn doing anything else goes in savings because I don't need it. I'll be spending it frivolously.
So where's your money to like enjoy yourself? So do your hair, go out?
That's in my part-time wages.
Okay. So that's a bill you account for that?
Yeah, because prior to me doing any kind of freelance, I was able to sustain myself just on my wages. So me getting any additional money would just be me spending it for the sake of spending it.
Yeah.
So obviously here and there, you know, like if it's my birthday month, I may spend more, of course. Yeah, you dip into that bit more. But on a whole, any additional money I get from outside of work, I'm disciplined enough to put it in savings. And I also have more than one savings account because they're all for different goals. So I have one for, I'm saving up for my house at the moment, one for my house savings. I have one as my emergency fund, one I want a new car. And like whatever I want, I've got about 4 or 5 different pots, all for different reasons, with all different providers. Because if it's all with one provider, you see all your money in one. You'll be tempted to be like, I can take 100 here and 200 there. They're all different. So when I look into one pot, if one pot says £200, but I may have a grand somewhere else, and you know what I mean? It's all kind of spread out. So I don't see it all in one go.
It's good.
Yeah. And are they locked or do you have access to them?
I have access. So I've got 4 primarily.
Yeah.
One of them has no online banking, so I have to go into branch. And the other 3, I have access to them, but because, like I said, they're so spread out, I forget that I have them.
Yeah,
that's good.
Unless I actually, like, imagine like one is my car fund, and God forbid I get into an accident, then I remember I'll have the car fund money there. I'll take that money. Other than that, I forget that I have the funds there.
Do you know what I recently started doing? I bought like a pot. You know them tin jars. I just started like saving my change. I've done it for like.
No, you should do it.
I've done it for like a couple of months.
Yeah.
I think like 3 months. I made like off just saving my silvers. I made like £55.
That's what I'm saying.
So I thought, you know what? Let me actually do this for a year. And any change I get, like 1p, £2,
I love doing that.
£5 note, I just dash it in there. So I went in my bag and I found a £5 note. I just dashed it in there. Do you know what I mean?
I've literally just filled up my jar last week.
Yeah,
that's so good.
I've been saving it for about 6 months.
Yeah,
just putting in any kind of loose change. So whenever I buy stuff, if I got change, all the change goes in there. I keep the note with me.
Yeah,
put the change in there, and now I've just filled it up. So I have to bring it to the bank.
That's so good. So quickly, what kind of advice could you give freelancers in terms of like budgeting the money and sort of like making sure that they're covering all bases as like a freelancer? Because like sometimes like you have to pay for like maybe someone else to get involved, or you need to pay for something. Like, how do you sort of like give some advice on that?
The biggest one that I always recommend to people is to have accounts separate to your current account. Because if you get paid as a freelancer into your current account, you're not going to be able to distinguish what money is mine and what came from the business. Because especially if you work, so if you take me, I get my wages and then I get freelance money. If they all come into the same place, I'm going to treat them all the same when it's not. So anything I get paid freelance goes into one account, my wages go into another. So that way I can say, right, I need to pay for X amount. How much do I have? How much can I afford for that? I can see the pot right there because my money's there. Especially when it comes to depending on how much you earn, tax purposes. If it's all separate, then you're able to kind of figure out how much did I earn this year. You know, everything's better that way. A lot of people that I meet who work freelance, even people who are big, like I always say hair because hair is quite lucrative. People who I know who do hair get it into their current account. And I'm like, so how much do you make from hair this year?
They can't tell you.
I'm like, I did well. And I'm like, what does that even mean? Because it's all coming to one account. If you separate it out, then you can tell me definitively, I made X amount this year.
And you can use these fintech banks as well. Like
that's what I'm saying. Open up a Monzo, open up a Starling, open up N26, whatever you want. There's so many out there. You don't necessarily have to go and say, I need a business account. You can literally just open up one of those until you're making big money. Then you say, I'll move to business account. Just
to interrupt. You know me, I'm an advocate of creating a spreadsheet, a 12-month spreadsheet. So you can actually the breakdown of your costs, how much you're going to make so you can actually say, like, okay, cool, if I have a bad month, do I still have enough to cover it, to cover my operating costs? Because those are fixed costs, right? So for those like freelancers or starting out a business, even just the individual working person, create a spreadsheet and like manage that spreadsheet, play with the numbers. Like if you want to go on holiday, like, okay, you might drop the amount you're saving this month and, you know, pay off your holiday and then increase the amount you're
But also documenting your money is also very good for another reason. A lot of people don't think about this, but if you want to sell your business, you're able to have all your figures there. You're able to show someone like, okay, this is how much it makes. This is how the system works and this is how much it can make you. A lot of people don't think about that because like a lot of people start businesses with no exit plan. So they don't know that what they're going to do once they reach a certain level, and that's why some start to regress. But it's so good to have like that spreadsheet and say you want to sell it, you can say, okay, this is how much it makes and you don't need to do this or you don't need to pay any extra effort. Do you get what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So that's really good 100%. As well. But that's really helpful because like I see like a lot of freelancers sort of getting troubles like that. Like they can't really sustain the whole kind of work they're trying to do because of like the fact of not having enough income to sort of sustain their business, if you get what I mean. So that's really helpful. Alex, do you have any more questions?
What's the next steps for the
Pennies
podcast?
to
pound? Well, I had my first ever finance event last week.
Dope.
That went down really well. It was on my birthday. Never doing that again. Do you know how much stress? I cried on that day.
Happy belated.
On my birthday. Thank you.
Yeah, happy belated.
Thank you, but I'm never doing that again. But aside from that, the event went down really, really well.
That's good.
So hopefully putting on more masterclasses, still pushing on with the podcast. Like I said, bringing some visuals hopefully very soon. But yeah, that's pretty much me at the moment.
That's
and
good.
Where can we find you?
If you want to find my Twitter threads we mentioned earlier, my Twitter is IKEA, so it's IKEEYAH_.
Play on.
Yeah, you see, play on words. Yeah, people used to tease me about it, so I thought, you know what, I'm going to turn that into positive. That's what I did.
That's good.
And then my podcast is Pennies to Pounds podcast. The Instagram for that is Pennies to Pounds pod. But yeah,
that's dope. And just going into the new week, what's your word or phrase of the week for the people listening?
Oh. Word or phrase of the week. Oh my gosh. This is like on the spot. So like it has to be like motivational.
Yeah, low key. Or something that's been on your mind quite a bit.
Been on my mind.
Like, what do you want people to take for this new week coming?
Okay, what I want people to take. Anything is possible with planning.
You have to write it down, then manifest it, then put it.
Say it right, do it.
100%.
Say it right, do it. That's dope. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Really enjoyed this.
Yeah, man.
And there's so much value that a lot of the listeners can get. So I'm really excited for them to hear it.
Definitely going to have you on again.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm here, man.
Yeah, 100%.
Hey, man. Vice versa. I'll bring you guys on.
Yeah. We're down, man. We're down for it.
Pending.
Yeah, man. There's power in numbers, man.
100%. It'd be nice to have a few guests because I'm always by myself.
No, I get you.
It goes like the quote I always say: if you want to go fast, go by yourself. If you want to go far, go with
others.
people.
Yeah,
for sure.
Absolutely true.
For sure.
And there you have it, guys. You know, Hustle Smart and Pennies to Pound podcast. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Go on our Twitter, Instagram, check out our podcast as well.
And our threads.
Because they're very useful.
Thank you.
And you know how it goes. Check us out. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram. Like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Again, if you want to come on, drop us a message, send us an email. We're friendly guys who don't bite.
And remember to focus on things that move the needle.
Focus on things that move the needle. This guy's always drilling into my head.
I have to.
So,
thank you guys for listening.